What else do we have? Is Eco Gel good for hair? I'm not really sure. I haven't heard of that one. Is that the brand, Eco? I'm looking it up right now just for the sake. Eco Argan Oil Styling Gel. I don't really know that much about it, so I can't tell you either way. I just kind of have to look at the ingredients. What ingredients should we avoid in the products? That's a good one. So anything that says this says conditions with omega fatty acids and vitamin E to provide nourishment that strengthens hair, but it's not giving me a full breakdown on the products. Let me see. Of course, I don't have any.
Yeah.
So like, not all of the glycerides are bad, but if you're seeing like a lot of them in a row, glyceride, then you want to kind of avoid that. Also, if you have a gluten intolerance or a gluten allergy, which is something that I have learned within the past year, a lot of your shampoo and conditioners will actually have wheat protein. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called. Let me find it. So yeah, hydrolyzed wheat protein. So if you are gluten-free, then that's definitely something to watch as well. Like anything that's like a side, like a glyceride or anything like that. And then anything that is, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a total blank right now. And a lot of serums, it'll come to me, I'm sure. As soon as it comes to me, as soon as it pops in my head, then I'll definitely let you guys know. But there are some oil-based products that have glycerin. That's what I'm looking for. I keep saying side, glycerin. And then the other one is the one that I'm sure will come to me for sure.
Excuse me, I have a question really quick. The chat isn't working for me either. I was just wondering, if you have a spring-loaded curling iron, how would you bend the hair in the back?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me get this guy plugged in really quick. One of the best things about Paw Mitchell tools is most of them heat up anywhere between like 20 and 45 seconds. So it's a super quick switch. It's one of my favorite features for sure. So with my spring-loaded curling iron, I'll go ahead and pin this up for you guys so you can see. I'm not going to do the whole breakdown again because we'll really just kind of focus on this bottom section right here. I'm going to clip all these guys up. I'm also going to show you guys one of my favorite curling irons in the whole world. This guy's really awesome. So this is like a great, what do you call it? When you cross two different things. Hi, what is it? Somebody help me out. Hybrid. Someone say it. Hybrid. Who is that?
It was me, Jordan.
Jordan. Yay. Thank you, Jordan. Hybrid. So this is a great hybrid. It's almost like a wand type curling iron, but it also has the spring-loaded tongue like this guy does, but it spins. It's like magic. This thing is my favorite thing in the whole world. So basically, I'm just going to show you while my other curling iron is heating up. I'm going to show you how this works real quick. So you can take it here, open your little spring-loaded thing here, and you're going to start at the very, like the top section of your hair. This is really important when you're curling, guys, because this section, this is not on, by the way, so I'm not going to burn all my hair off and be like that girl on YouTube. But this is really important. So this section of your hair is the thickest, the healthiest, and requires the most heat. These guys down here, and you can see mine, are pretty sad. That's awful. So don't even look. Don't look anymore. But these guys don't require as much heat because your hair naturally kind of tapers off as you get to the end. And if you're blondorexic like I am, then probably have a little damage living in there as well. So definitely this section needs the most heat. So we're going to clamp that up there. And then with this guy, we're just going to twirl it. And look, it's just going to suck everybody in all on its own. You see this? So now I still have my tail kind of hanging out here. It doesn't need heat. It doesn't need heat but for a few seconds because it's so much thinner. It's just been around much longer. So then as you get to the end and you're finishing up, you're about to take it out, you can just run that over and then you just pull it all out and it's curled. These kind of curling irons are amazing. These little hybrid guys right here. Okay, so I have my big fatty here with my tongue. If you're finding that you're having trouble with your hair being too curly, you might want to play with the size of the section that you're curling, because that may be the problem. Maybe the section's too small. If your curls are falling out quickly, you might want to take a smaller section. So it just kind of depends on what you have going on. But same situation with the last curling iron that I was showing you guys. This requires the most heat, this up here closer to your scalp. So we're going to clamp that on there first. And then I'm going to give it a turn. And I got my little guy sticking out here. So what you really want to pay attention to is space here. So you don't want it to be all wrapped up really close like this. Like when you wrap it around the curling iron, you don't really want it to stack on top of itself as much, because you're really looking for length and you just want a bit of a twirl or a wave. So we're going to start at the top, give it a little twirl. Make sure you have that little bit of separation there. And then when I pull it through my ends, I just like to kind of pull it straight out, because I like my curls to be a little straighter at the end. So now and even if you need to kind of give them a little tug so they're not too long, now you're not taking so much length away from your style. So you're like, okay, I can still feel like Rapunzel this way. I don't have to feel like a poodle. I don't have to feel like I just lost 4 inches of my hair. So just give it just a little bit of a bend, and of course that's going to fall out a tiny bit too. And then the other way is to kind of make those ends just a teensy bit straighter, which is kind of the look right now anyways. So it works out perfectly. What dry shampoo do I recommend? My very favorite, I actually have it right here, is the Paul Mitchell, just the classic dry wash. They also do the same line as the Pump Me Up. They have 2 different dry shampoos. They have a blonde one and they have one for brunettes. The one for brunettes is nice if your hair is really dark, because it helps you avoid that chalkiness that you can get at your roots sometimes. But this one is my favorite. I use it pretty much every day, even when my hair is clean. I'll still put it on when my hair is clean, because I feel like it gives me more texture, because I have that fine kind of straight feeling. And I'll show you guys just real quick kind of the way. Did I answer your curl question before I move on real quick? Does that make sense, or you guys want to see one more time? I have short hair and it always poofs up. How do I get it to stay sort of flat? So this is a really good one. For me, I like the opposite. I like volume, so I'm going to curl up and out away from my hair this way. So like when I curl the top section, I pull it all straight up. That's called on base. So when you're pulling the hair, when you're looking for volume, when you're looking for height, then you want to pull the hair and you're going to hold it this way and you're going to curl it straight up, so that when you come down on top of this curl, you're right on top of your scalp, right where that is. That's called on base. So when you're looking to not have any volume, you want to hold your hair as low as possible. Like, how low can you go? So we're going to leave it here. And this time, instead of starting way up here, we're going to start down a little bit lower. And I don't know how short your hair is, but you can just kind of adjust. So hold your curling iron, like, straight up and down like this. And we're looking for our length. So we're just going to kind of pull it through this way. And that way we're not getting height here, but we're getting texture here. So if your curls are too small, and maybe it's the only curling iron you have, maybe you haven't invested in multiple irons just yet. So maybe you only have something that's like 1 inch or ½ inch, toy with bigger sections. So bigger sections would work. The other part, I'm going to show you guys that one more time, because you kind of get that little more like loosey, just kind of wavy feel to it when you curl it this way. Again, holding it down, not up, because up's going to create volume. So we'll hold it down this way. We're going to clamp it here. The separation between the strands is another good thing to look for. So we have a gap here, and then we'll just kind of pull it through a little bit, and we're pulling it straight down. So this way we're getting curl, but we're not getting height. How do I keep the curls from falling out throughout the day? The biggest secret, I feel like, with your curls lasting as long as possible is dirty hair. Dirty hair's a good start. Dry shampoo really helps. Your heat protectant, your neuro heat protectant here. This is gonna help hold your curl. And then your Stay Strong or your hairspray is gonna help as well. I typically over curl my hair the first day. That way the second day it's fallen out, and then the third day I have something that's actually kind of a little more like this, kind of this look to it. So you can just kind of, you know, rock it and take advantage of those curls for as long as possible without having to redo them, maybe just touching up a little bit. Another thing that's really popular right now is kind of like the looser curls towards the back and then a little curlier around the face. So even if you had just a little wave or a little separation in texture left back here, you could always just come in around your face and make these guys just a little bit curlier, and you would be like right on point with what's trending for sure. Do you guys have any other questions? I told you I'm just full of information. Got plenty for you. Going back to the color question, did I answer the kind of oil slick look versus the really bright vibrant look? Salon name is TheLab Hair Studio. If you guys know where the bowling alley is out on 50, we're right in front of them on the corner of West Avenue and Highway 50. It's just right across from downtown Claremont.
Kendall asked, what's the best way to protect your curls when you're sleeping?
When you're sleeping, a silk pillowcase is really awesome because it's not going to create as much friction. It will kind of just slide as opposed to kind of getting caught and frayed by like something more like cotton or canvas or anything like that. Another really great thing to do would be to leave like a treatment in overnight, like one of the Diva Curl treatments. You could use one of the spray leave-ins. Paul Mitchell also makes a lavender mint in the tea tree line. It's a lavender mint mud mask. Something like that would be really nice to sleep in. You could always do your handy dandy shower cap if you wanted to. This is my BFF. Her name is Claire. That was my grandma's name. So you could always do the whole shower cap with a conditioning treatment. Silk pillowcase is really awesome. And then if you know how to braid, sleeping in braids is a great way. You can also, if you just sleep like regular, there's some really great, like the Awapui Moisture Mist that you can spray on the next day. Either that or we have a wave refresher that you can use. It's basically just a spritz to kind of spray your curls back down, get them a little bit more under control, and kind of like prepped for the day. That works really well. I'm not allowed to bleach my hair. That's okay. That's all right. If you, like I said, even if you, listen, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, if you want to DM me pictures of your natural hair right now, if you have any color questions, I'll do my best to get back to you guys. I have no problem with that at all. So particular color, if you like, as far as fashion colors or vivids go, if you send me a picture of your hair, then I can tell you even what colors would show up the most vibrant, what you would see the most. Because like I said, I mean, if you have natural hair color that's been lightened by the sun, like you may have this really awesome piece in the front that you could put magenta on and it would really show up. The only thing that's a little bit tricky is kind of when you get into more of the blue situation. And that's just the basic color wheel. You know, blue and yellow, like if I were to put blue all over my hair right now with how gold it is currently, or yellow, if you will, then yellow and blue make green. So I would end up with teal. So blues can be a little trickier. They have to be either on the indigo side, so a little bit of purple in there as well, that like 1/2 of red kind of counterbalances that. And that's why the magenta or the purple would work out as well. What can you do in a pinch if you don't have dry shampoo? Any hacks? Yes, I do. Actually, regular baby powder works just fine. You have to kind of rub it in a little bit more, but it works just fine and it smells great. Smell like a smooth baby bottom. Well, you're welcome, Kendall. Some people have like reached for something along the lines of like baking soda. I do not recommend doing that. It's going to irritate your skin. I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you leave that on your skin, especially on your scalp where it's a little more sensitive for too long, then it will definitely kind of give you a little bit of an irritation, and it's also super drying for your hair. So I don't really recommend the baking soda kind of situation, But if you're in a pinch, you don't have dry shampoo, if you had baby powder, then you could totally use it for sure. The other thing that really helps is the Pump Me Up that we were talking about earlier, that little powder poof, the texture powder. This guy's really great to help kind of absorb those oils as well, for sure. And if you're in a pinchy pinch, then I have actually sprayed my hair with hairspray and then kind of fingered it out, if that makes sense. So I have like kind of around my hairline here, been maybe a little bit greasy, didn't have all my products with me, or I was desperate, only had some hairspray. If you give it a spray and just let it dry, and it's actually the buildup, which sounds awful, but all of PopUps products are water soluble. So as soon as you put water in your hair, all of that build up is gonna come off. So spray it. You can kind of see how it's like sticking out a little bit right now. So if I were to just kind of give that a little bit of a shake and kind of rub it in a little bit, it would kind of do the same thing and help absorb those oils a little bit, because that's really what you're looking for, is just to absorb the oils. Also, if you guys have bangs and you're like, listen, Christine, I would love to go a week without washing my hair, but these bangs are like grease fest on day 2, totally fine. Section out your bangs by themselves. When you're washing your face, grab, pardon this bottle, it's been in my shower, but Paul Mitchell also makes Baby Don't Cry, which is a tear-free shampoo, or you can also grab just even like Aveeno, or what's the other really popular baby products? I'm drawing a blank. But any kind of baby shampoo that's like no tears and also really gentle, you can just lean over the sink, wash your bangs, and then blow them dry. And that way you don't have to do everything, but I feel you with the bangs, because especially summertime, with the sweat, with everything else, your bangs are gonna get greasy really fast. This is a really great way to just wash your bangs, let everything else rock and roll, hit it with some dry shampoo, and you're out the door for sure. As far as trending goes, all braids are trending for sure. The kind of pulled out, very romantic kind of piecey braid is very in. And I'll tell you, the best day for doing that is after you've been curly for maybe like a day or so, and you've got some dry shampoo in there, maybe you have your roots crimped, and I'll go ahead and use this side of my head just because we've already been playing here. We've already got some texture, we've already got some Pump Me Up, we've got some Stay Strong, we've got crimp, we've got curl, we've got the whole 9. So we're gonna take this guy, and I'll just show you guys real quick like a French braid, and then we'll pull it out a little bit together. Which way, is there a certain way that you guys would prefer to see either the braid sitting on top or the braid underneath? Do we have a preference either way? One of them is a Dutch braid. That's where it's kind of like cornrows, where you see the braid on the top, and then a French braid is where the braid lives underneath. On top. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go with the braid sitting on top, kind of like a cornrow. So I'm just gonna take it from where my hair is parted right here, like you kind of get this little point in the hairline right here. So I'm gonna start right here and just kind of come back this way. And then if you were gonna do 2, you could do the same thing on this side and pull it back here. Another really fun thing, you guys, especially for my fine hair gals, is these guys. These are called Invisibobbles, and they're like janitor, key holder, wrist administrator of the high school people band, and they're the best for no ponytail lines at all. And if any of you gals have that fine hair, or I mean even curly hair sometimes, you know my struggle with pulling your hair all up. You take it down even 30 minutes later and you have all of these crazy bumps and everything everywhere. This does not do that. So these are like huge, huge lifesaver for me. Okay, but I digress. Back to the braid. So we're gonna take this section, we're gonna come and we're gonna grab like a little triangle here. We're gonna split it into our 3 sections here. And then all of our pieces are gonna come up through the middle. So this is gonna come up through the middle. This is gonna come up through the middle, up through the middle, up through the middle. And usually by the time I get to this part, I'm ready to pick up my next section. And my sections are all gonna be added, you got it, to the middle. So now this guy's coming up through the middle, and this guy that's in the middle now is the one that's gonna get the hair. And we're going up through the middle. We're gonna bring this guy around now, up through the middle. I need some music or something, right? Up through the middle.
I could sing along.
Boy, this is just the messiest braid if I ever seen one. All right, so up through the middle. This guy's coming back and up. And then we'll go one more.
Yeah.
Back and up through the middle. So you guys can kind of see how that's, okay, one more, I lied. Back and up through the middle. We've made it here. So now same thing, we're just not gonna add any hair, but we're gonna go back and up, 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 up. So we'll hold this here. So now we have our braid created. Can you guys see that okay? I'm gonna use a little tiny band. Hopefully Ember doesn't mind. I'm sure she won't. That's my 2-year-old. What color would go good with hazel eyes? How a photo would be the best option? Are they more on the green side or more on the light brown side? Okay, we have our braid in. So now, once you've got your guy totally secured, and I'm sure you guys have had these issues before, you're like, I've got these hairs popping up, Christine, everything's going crazy. It's okay. Just get it in, get it secured. You can fix it from there. You can kind of play with it. You can use bobby pins if you need to tuck some little crazy guys in. No worries. So we're going to start at the very bottom, and you're just going to bloom it out. So wherever you're starting here, you're just going to kind of hold onto your rubber band and then just pull this up and out. See how we're making it like a little bubble there? And then same thing with this side. So we're just going to pull that and bubble out, and then find your third strand, same thing, pull it, bubble out. You're like, okay, well, that was weird. Yeah. So now we're just going to start borrowing from that with the hair that's moving up. Because if you pull from here first, it's not really going to matter. You need to pull these guys up and give a little space so you can bloom this out. So now we're just going to pull the whole braid. We're just going to bloom it out. Just like that. Mm-hmm. Give it some good texture, some good volume. You could give it a little pin right here if you wanted to. You could do another one on the other side and give yourself like a little high pony right here. Super in. You can also just take, got my 10 of bobby pins here. Take your bobby pin and just secure it back here. That's pretty cute. Not too bad. I dig it. Not this side, but she's looking cute. So if you had some guys that were kind of misbehaving, maybe you want this braid to lay down a little bit more. This is what I mean by kind of taking your bobby pins here. This is a really great staple for all of you guys to have in your bathroom all of the time. Grab your hair color and just, because you never know when you're going to need it. I would definitely just take this, and then you're just going to go this way. So if you want that to lay down a little bit more, you're going to just put it straight in. Boom shakalaka. Not even really going to see that guy, but it's kind of holding your braid a little bit flatter, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Greenish yellow eyes. If you have greenish yellow eyes, red is always a good option, or on the red or warmer side. Of course, that's depending on your skin tone as well. If you have some pink or red undertones, sometimes red can be a bad idea because it just kind of accentuates it instead of kind of muting it down a little bit. So skin color has a big play in it as well. Light eyes have a tendency to really pop with darker hair. So, you know, maybe keeping it blonde on the ends, but giving yourself maybe something more dimension or some more depth at your root area to kind of get it dark, make your eyes really pop for sure. Love red hair and green eyes. One of my faves. So we're gonna go ahead and take that out. Hairstyle for short hair. How short are we talking? Like shoulder length, above the shoulders, pixie. Feeling like I'm gonna plug in my, almost a bob, but a little shorter. Okay, so a little bit shorter than shoulders probably. If you have a smoothing iron, this would be a great time for that. Curling irons can definitely be a little bit difficult with a bob, especially because typically the whole premise behind a bob and the shape of the haircut, the way that it's cut, everything that lives underneath your very top layer, unless it's like a very layered lob or something like that. But typically the way it works is all of this hair underneath is much, much shorter. So the most length that you have is what kind of lives on top. Almost a bob, I'm growing it out from a pixie cut. Okay, stay strong. That's number one that I can tell you. If you're looking to grow it out, just stay strong and stay with me, sister. Because once you get past the shoulders, it'll be a breeze from there. But I totally feel you. Once you hit the shoulders, expect a flip. It's just one of those things. The shoulders just get in the way. It just happens. Breathe through it. Once you get past that, about like an inch past your shoulders, your hair will take off from there. It's not really something that we, with longer hair here in the back, this hair is constantly rubbing on your shirt. It's rubbing on necklaces. So once you hit this length where it gets to your shoulders, where it gets to your collarbones, when that hair hits right there, it's constantly rubbing hair. So it may feel like you're stuck here for a long time. Just give it some TLC, give it some patience, make sure you're getting your trims every 10 weeks. And then also, I don't remember what I was saying, but just be strong and you can do it. Definitely see your hairdresser if you have one, because they can help you out with styles in between that will make the grow out process a little bit easier. And then, yeah, just once you get past it, the average hair growth that you all can kind of count on is about ½ inch a month. So you're talking about 6 months, you get 3 inches. So it's just kind of a rule of thumb. Some people are a lot more than that. If you're Sherry Lewin, it's like an inch every month, but not everyone is like that. So for most people, the average is about ½ inch a month. So if you're growing out from a pixie cut, you really want some texture. You're like, I can't take a curling iron to my head right now because I'm going to look like 70s afro. I've seen pictures of my dad or my grandpa, not going to do it. So the best option would definitely be a smoothing iron. And this is a really great way for you guys. Let me turn it on. My bad. I really love this iron too. This is the Express Ion Smooth, and this has temperature control settings. It also has pre-settings by the manufacturer for fine, medium, or coarse hair. So that's really fun too, because sometimes you don't really know exactly what temperature to put it at. So for shorter hair, let me see. I'm gonna be like the worst for this. I should bring my daughter in here to show you guys. Her hair's a little bit shorter than mine. No, I'm just gonna use this guy up here. So any kind of texture is good. So even if you're not getting a complete curl out of it, use your smoothing iron, pull it up a little bit, and just almost like you're curling a ribbon on a present, just give it a little bend. You know, and like I said, this is curling all the way down because my hair is long, but even if you're taking like a bigger section, you're really just grabbing it and you're just going to twist it a little bit. Like I said, just like you're curling a ribbon on a present. Give that a go, because even if you have pieces that are about this long, see how it just gives it enough to be texture, but not so much that you have, like, I like to call them George Washington curls. And on little girls or on like tendrils or like your flower girl, but not on you. So we don't want any George Washington curls. So that's the best way with a smoothing iron, either that or you can use a wand and just make sure you have that space in between. So if you're wrapping it on a wand, let's pretend it's only this short. I'm gonna pretend for a second. I'm literally just gonna pull it down and bend it here. See that? It's literally just a bend. It's not even curling all the way around. But when you take it out, you're gonna have just a little tiny bit, and that's enough. That's enough. And then spray it with your Stay Strong and give it a little bit of separation, and then you're super saucy and ready to rock. Was that helpful for you guys, my short hair darlings? You are very, very welcome, Emily. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I try to put tutorials up as much as possible on Dirty Girl Hair tutorials to help you guys a little bit more. Answer all of the questions.
Thank you, Christine.
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Sherry. I always enjoy it.
I was wondering if you might just take a minute and tell them a little bit about your kind of your career path, like when you got your training and how you became from when you started to now that you're a successful salon owner.
Oh, wow.
Just, you know, you studied at Lake Technical College, right?
Yes. So I, like I was saying earlier, I went to Eastridge. Who went to Eastridge? Janelle. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Go nice. So I went to Eastridge. I graduated in 2005, but I was actually dual enrolled my senior year of high school. I'm a third generation hairdresser. So my mom and my grandmother were both kind of in the industry. And I was always under my grandmother's feet. I absolutely fell in love with doing hair. I did it for all of my high school friends, for prom, for homecoming. I was always messing around with hair color. And so my junior year, I got a wicked case of senioritis. And my mom's like, listen, girlfriend, something's got to give. Like, you can't be all willy-nilly, lackadaisical. Like, you have 1 year left. You really need to hunker down. So I looked into Lake Tech, and they had a dual enrollment program. And I actually ended up getting my cosmetology license completely free. I got with dual enrollment while being in high school, still they paid for it. And then I had to go back the following year for August, September, October, about 3 months. And I was the only Eastridge student that was there. So I automatically got the scholarship, which was really cool. So I did not pay for my cosmetology school at all. I came out at 18 years old, graduated from high school, had my cosmetology license, and had a baby 2 weeks later. Do not recommend. Wonderful, absolute blessings, but definitely don't take that route. So I came out of school. I assisted for a little bit, but I was really on fire, ready to get behind the chair. I absorbed as much knowledge as I possibly could. I love doing hair. It's my passion. I own a salon now, but it's not with the intention of owning a business. It's with the intention of owning a salon where I can work behind the chair, but continue to grow myself with the benefits kind of a corporate setting with the heart of a small business. So that means being able to set up insurance policies for myself and my girls, 401ks. These are not typically things that hairdressers kind of plan for or think for, especially in like a small or privately owned salon, but it's definitely the way that we are trying to push the industry. So I have worked, let me say, I've been in Claremont working for 15 years at a hairdresser. I've worked in only 4 different salons, one of them being my own. So I've definitely, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm loyal through and through until the end of our journey. But I digress. So really just staying open and learning everything that I could from everyone. And that's including things that I knew I didn't want to do and qualities I didn't want to have. So everyone has something to teach you, whether it's what you want to do or maybe what you don't want to do. And really just kind of staying aware and staying with the intention of eventually owning my own salon. And, you know, now we're 6 years deep and still rocking and rolling. We've moved over into a bigger building. It's a little more than 3 times the size of my first salon. And we're kind of working on filling that up now after this whole COVID shenanigans. But it's definitely my passion. It's what I love to do. And I just can't learn enough about it or share enough about it. We talk about it all day.
All of Thrive's funding for programs comes from private donations, corporate sponsorship, and grants. Anyone that's interested in supporting our programs can find out more on our website, in addition to volunteering as an instructor for an upcoming event. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for the latest updates on Thrive's agenda. For more information about any of the volunteer opportunities that were discussed today, go to thriveclaremont.org.